PGA Tour critics suddenly going silent? And how did one round of golf just become the most important moment in Live Eve's entire existence? Let's be brutally honest about where Anthony Kim was just months ago. This is a player who vanished from professional golf for 12 years. 12 years. He didn't take a break or step away temporarily. He disappeared so completely that people genuinely wondered if he'd ever be mentally or physically capable of competing again. The rumored insurance policy that paid him millions to stay retired. The injury so severe that doctors reportedly told him his Achilles might never heal properly. The isolation so complete that sightings of Anthony Kim became urban legends debated on golf forums like Bigfoot Encounters. When Live Golf announced they'd signed Kim in 2024, the golf world reacted with a mixture of curiosity and mockery. PGA Tour media treated it like a publicity stunt. Golf Digest ran pieces questioning whether Kim could even make it through a full tournament. Analysts laughed openly on broadcasts, suggesting LEV was so desperate for names that they'd sign anyone with name recognition regardless of whether they could actually compete. The narrative was set before Kim hit a single shot. This was going to be a train wreck, a cautionary tale about what happens when you try to resurrect a career that died over a decade ago, and for months, the critics looked right. Kim's early LIV performances were rough, flashes of the talent that once made him one of golf's brightest stars, buried under visible struggle, rust, and a body that clearly hadn't competed at this level in over a decade. Every missed cut became ammunition. Every bad round was proof that LAV's second chance narrative was a joke. The whispers got louder. Kim should retire again. This comeback is embarrassing. Liv is just warehousing washed-up names for publicity. Then came Liv Golf Adelaide, and everything changed in ways that are still sending shockwaves through professional golf. Anthony Kim didn't just play well. He didn't just compete. He absolutely dominated one of the toughest fields Liv has assembled, going head-to-head with the league's biggest stars and making it look almost easy. And when the dust settled, Kim had beaten Bryson DeChambeau, Live's most visible and dominant player, in a performance that left everyone watching absolutely stunned. But here's where the story gets truly fascinating and emotional. Bryson's reaction wasn't what anyone expected. Most elite competitors, when they lose, protect themselves. They talk about their own execution, keep it technical, deflect attention. Bryson did the exact opposite. In a post-round interview that's already gone viral across every golf platform, Bryson got visibly emotional talking about what he'd just witnessed, and his words revealed something way deeper than simple sportsmanship. If you're getting chills from this story, smash that like button and subscribe, because what Bryson said next shocked the entire golf world. Bryson called Kim's performance flawless. Not good, not impressive, flawless. He said Kim didn't miss a shot, that watching him play was like witnessing someone operating at a level that Bryson himself was struggling to match. Think about what that means for a second. The player who just lost is calling his opponent's round perfect. That's not standard post-match courtesy. That's Bryson staking his reputation on the statement that what he just witnessed was legitimate. World-class golf. But Bryson didn't stop there. His voice cracked slightly as he talked about Kim's journey, saying this is one of the greatest comeback stories in sports history. He mentioned Kim going from the lowest of lows, nearly leaving this earth entirely, to standing on a golf course, competing at the highest level again. The emotion wasn't manufactured or performed for cameras. This was genuine, raw feeling from a player who understood exactly how significant this moment was. And then Bryson said something that's already being dissected and analyzed across every golf media platform. He said Kim's success shows what Live Golf can provide, the opportunities the league creates for players who need a different structure, a second chance, a pathway back to competition that the traditional tour system doesn't offer. That statement, coming from Bryson in that emotional moment, wasn't just about Anthony Kim. It was about LIV's entire reason for existing. Because here's what's really happening beneath the surface of this story. Anthony Kim's performance just became the most important validation Live Golf has ever received. Not from winning a tournament against a weak field, but from beating Bryson DeChambeau, the league's biggest star and most credible player, in a way that even Bryson himself called flawless. That's not something critics can dismiss or spin. That's legitimate competition producing a legitimate result. The reaction across LIV was immediate and intense. Players who'd been watching Kim struggle for months were suddenly reaching out, congratulating him, posting on social media about how inspiring his round was. But more than that, you could feel the relief, because Kim's success wasn't just good for Kim, it was protection for everyone who left the PGA Tour. It was proof that LIV isn't where careers go to die. It's where talent can find a different structure and still compete at the highest level. Koepka, who recently returned to the PGA Tour, reportedly watched Kim's round and reached out privately to congratulate him. Multiple sources described the message as emotional and filled with respect for what Kim had accomplished. Even players who've left LIV were forced to acknowledge that what Kim did was genuinely impressive and significant. But here's where the story gets complicated and reveals just how much pressure is now on Anthony Kim. Bryson made a prediction in that same emotional interview. He said he wouldn't be surprised if Kim is hoisting a trophy by season's end. That's not just optimism. That's Bryson building a narrative that either saves LIV's credibility or destroys it completely depending on what Kim does next. Because the uncomfortable truth is that 12-year comebacks don't follow straight lines. Kim will have bad weeks. He'll struggle. There will be moments when the rust shows and the body breaks down and the mental demons come back. And when that happens, every word Bryson just said becomes a test. If Kim sustains this level and continues competing, Bryson looks visionary and LIV's second chance narrative becomes bulletproof. If Kim collapses and fades back into irrelevance, Bryson just attached his credibility to a failure that PGA Tour critics predicted from day one. The golf media is already positioning themselves for both outcomes. Some outlets are praising Kim's performance while hedging with phrases like, "We'll see if he can maintain this level." Others are openly skeptical, suggesting this was one good week that will be followed by the inevitable decline. The divide shows just how polarized golf has become and how much Kim's success or failure means to both sides of the sport's civil war. What makes Bryson's emotional response so powerful and risky is that he didn't hedge or protect himself. He went all in on Anthony Kim publicly, on camera, in a moment that will be replayed thousands of times. If Kim proves him right, that moment becomes iconic. If Kim proves him wrong, it becomes evidence that Bryson was desperately trying to manufacture legitimacy for a league that can't deliver it. And here's the part that should terrify both Kim and Bryson. Kim's next tournament isn't just another event, it's a referendum on whether Adelaide was real or a fluke. Every shot will be analyzed, every score will be compared, and the entire golf world will be watching to see if the comeback can sustain or if it was just one magical week that can't be repeated. Behind the scenes, LIV executives are reportedly thrilled but nervous. Kim's performance gave them the exact storyline they've been desperate for since the league launched. Proof that LIV competition matters. Proof that players can thrive in their format. Proof that the league isn't just an exhibition series for retired stars collecting checks, but they also understand that one performance doesn't change the broader narrative unless Kim can build on it. The pressure on Kim now is absolutely crushing. He's not just playing for himself anymore. He's carrying LIV's credibility on his shoulders. Every tournament becomes a statement about whether the league works, every bad round becomes ammunition for critics, and every good performance becomes proof that Bryson was right to get emotional and stake his reputation on Kim's talent. What Anthony Kim did at LIV Golf Adelaide wasn't just beat Bryson DeChambeau. It was force the entire golf world to reconsider everything they thought they knew about comebacks, second chances, and whether LIV Golf can actually deliver on its promises. Bryson's emotional response wasn't just sportsmanship, it was a player recognizing that he'd just witnessed something significant enough to change the conversation around the league he's bet his career on. LIV golf players can't believe what Anthony Kim